Why did I need an immigration lawyer? Introduction. When I decided to leave the U.S. and began researching expat websites and channels, I learned that there were a lot of potential problems that required the services of a competent immigration lawyer. I was familiar with immigration law in the U.S. on a personal basis, as I saw firsthand how many people from other countries tried and failed to obtain their visas and citizenship. In my case, I did not want to take any chances, and honestly, I did not want to be overwhelmed with trying to do it myself. I was not coming to Kenya to test the waters. My mind was made up, and I was going to do it the right way and to the best of my ability. This understanding actually saved time, money, and prevented stress while ensuring success in one of the biggest challenges in life. Why not DIY? Of course, like many people, I initially considered handling the immigration process myself. As a lifelong learner and confident self-taught computer tech, I naturally felt comfortable with being able to research complex problems and solve them efficiently. Thankfully, I had the good sense to know that this was not a Windows or Mac issue and that this was my life. So yes, I got some help in the form of an immigration advocate. My research showed me first and foremost that immigration law operates on insider knowledge that the general public simply does not possess. Immigration policies, procedures, and requirements change frequently, and there are often unwritten protocols and preferences that only experienced professionals understand. Without access to this insider information, I knew that I could miss critical deadlines, fail to submit required documentation, or inadvertently violate regulations that could have jeopardized my application. Additionally, gathering all the necessary information for a successful immigration application is more complex than it appears. The immigration requirements involved various forms of documentation and specific formatting requirements that were not immediately obvious. I realized that it may not be as straightforward a process as it seemed on the surface, and that it could involve requirements that needed to be precisely coordinated. I did not know if language and culture would present barriers and become a significant obstacle if I tried DIY. Even though English was a national language, legalese is not. I knew that this could be problematic, and due to the legal terminology and bureaucratic processes involved, could be easily misunderstood. These misunderstandings can lead to errors in applications, missed opportunities, or unintentional violations of immigration requirements. Perhaps most importantly, successful immigration often requires having boots on the ground, local contacts and relationships that can facilitate the process. Immigration lawyers maintain professional relationships with government officials, understand local practices, and can navigate bureaucratic systems efficiently. Without these connections, individuals attempting DIY immigration may find themselves facing unnecessary delays and obstacles. Why following blogs and online resources falls short. Google is a great resource and is filled with immigration blogs, forums, and websites offering advice and guidance. While these resources provided general information, relying on them as my primary source of immigration guidance presented serious risks. The fundamental problem with online immigration advice is verification. Unlike professional legal advice, which comes with accountability and professional standards, blog information cannot be completely verified. Authors may lack proper credentials, their information may be outdated, or they may be discussing situations that don't apply to your specific circumstances. Furthermore, people writing about their immigration experiences online may lie or exaggerate their stories. Success stories may omit crucial details about setbacks, additional costs, or special circumstances that made their approach successful. Similarly, horror stories may be dramatized or may result from the individual's own mistakes, rather than systemic problems with the immigration process. The anonymity of online advice creates another significant risk. You're essentially trusting strangers with one of the most important decisions of your life. These individuals have no professional obligation to provide accurate information, no liability if their advice proves wrong, and no understanding of your specific situation and needs. Most critically, using blogs as your primary method for immigration guidance will likely cost you time, energy, and money in the long run. The scattered, often contradictory information found online could have led me down false paths and caused me to miss important deadlines or result in applications that are rejected due to incomplete or incorrect information. The cost of fixing these mistakes often far exceeds the cost of hiring professional help from the beginning. The risks of relying on friends for immigration help. Unfortunately, I did not have any friends or family in Kenya. The only people that I could communicate with were women that I met on a dating site. Obviously, that is problematic in many ways. The first problem is you don't really know these people that you meet on a dating site. There are many scammers and other people with intentions that may be dubious. Also, it is limited regardless of their intentions, because they are not immigration professionals. They may know some people and have some knowledge of those situations, but immigration law is highly individualized, and what worked for one person may not work for another. In my case, I knew that I should not trust the advice of people that I really did not know and who were not lawyers. They turned out to be decent people when we ultimately met, but to base my relocation on their knowledge would have been a mistake. More troubling is the possibility that friends may sabotage your efforts for personal gain. While this may seem paranoid, competition for immigration slots, jealousy over your plans, or simple self-interest can motivate people to provide poor advice or withhold crucial information. They may discourage you from pursuing certain options to reduce competition, or they may exaggerate difficulties to make their own achievements seem more impressive. Even well-meaning friends may simply not know how to get things done efficiently. Their immigration experience may have been successful despite inefficient methods, or they may have succeeded through circumstances that no longer apply. They may also lack the connections and relationships that professional immigration lawyers maintain with government officials and agencies. Finally, the relationship dynamics involved in accepting immigration help from friends can be complicated. How well do you really know these people, and what are their motivations for helping you? Are they truly friends, or are they acquaintances with their own agendas? The stakes involved in immigration are too high to base decisions on uncertain relationships. The dangers of waiting until arrival. Some people believe they can handle immigration matters after arriving in their destination country, but this approach has become increasingly problematic and risky in recent years. In my experience, visa on arrival was terminated and replaced with the Electronic Travel Authorization (ETA) system, which required advanced approval. This system required that I apply and receive authorization before coming to Kenya. Fortunately, it was very efficient, and I was able to receive approval within 48 hours. Professional application assistance. The application process for immigration can be incredibly complex, involving multiple forms, supporting documentation, and strict formatting requirements. Immigration lawyers have extensive experience preparing these applications and understand exactly what immigration officials are looking for in each document. Professional application assistance goes beyond simply filling out forms correctly. Immigration lawyers know how to present your case in the most favorable light, how to address potential concerns proactively, and how to organize documentation in a way that facilitates quick and positive review by immigration officials. They also understand the importance of consistency across all application materials and can ensure that your various forms and supporting documents tell a coherent story about your immigration intentions and qualifications. This attention to detail can be the difference between approval and rejection, especially in cases where eligibility requirements are borderline. Court representation and appeals. If your immigration application is denied or challenged, having professional legal representation becomes absolutely crucial. Immigration courts operate under complex procedural rules, and attempting to represent yourself in these proceedings is rarely successful. Immigration lawyers understand court procedures, know how to present evidence effectively, and can craft legal arguments that address the specific grounds for denial or challenge. They also have experience working with immigration judges and prosecutors, which can be invaluable in negotiating favorable outcomes or settlements. The appeals process is particularly complex and time-sensitive, with strict deadlines and specific procedural requirements that must be followed exactly. Missing a deadline or failing to follow proper procedures can permanently eliminate your right to appeal, making professional representation essential for protecting your interests. Tax considerations and international implications. Immigration decisions often have significant tax implications that can affect your financial well-being both in your home country and your destination country. Immigration lawyers can help you understand these tax considerations and coordinate with tax professionals to develop strategies that minimize your overall tax burden. For retirees, tax considerations are particularly important because they often involve Social Security payments, pension distributions, and investment income that may be treated differently depending on your immigration status and the tax treaties between countries. Immigration lawyers can help you determine whether tax treaties between your home country and destination country will affect your Social Security payments and other retirement income. They can also advise you on the timing of your immigration to optimize tax outcomes, such as avoiding certain tax years or coordinating your immigration with other financial decisions that could affect your tax liability. Conclusion: the decision to immigrate to another country, whether for retirement or other purposes, represents one of the most significant life changes you can make. The complexity of modern immigration law, combined with the high stakes involved in immigration decisions, makes professional legal representation not just advisable but essential for success. While DIY approaches, online resources, friend networks, and last-minute planning may seem attractive from a cost or convenience perspective, these alternatives carry significant risks that can ultimately prove far more expensive and stressful than hiring professional help from the beginning. The expertise, connections, and comprehensive support that immigration lawyers provide are invaluable assets that can mean the difference between a successful immigration experience and a costly, frustrating failure. By investing in professional immigration legal services, you're not just buying technical assistance with forms and applications, you're purchasing peace of mind, strategic guidance, and professional advocacy that will serve your interests throughout the entire immigration process and beyond. In a decision this important, the question shouldn't be whether you can afford to hire an immigration lawyer, but whether you can afford not to.